knew there was nothing I could do. I knew I couldn't carry him out of there. I couldn't shoot him. I couldn't take care of his wounds. But it seemed like it should have been something I could do. And I don't know what it is. I haven't found that out yet. There's not a day goes by that I haven't contemplated that and what I could have done or should have done. And we got through there. I caught up with the guys and we're still headed up. And as we get to this opening where this lieutenant was waiting on us, they opened fire on us. And I told the guys, I said, don't shoot back. It's our own guys. They think we're gooks. But what do we do? I said, just keep moving forward, yelling friendly, friendly. So we're moving up friendly, friendly all the time. They're shooting at us. Finally, we get to this clearing, and this lieutenant had left with his guys, and 3 gooks had come in where they were at. That's who was shooting at us. So there we are, there in front of us, and there was just 4 of us with weapons. We just opened fire and started going up the hill. Finally, got right up to where they were at, where we were on one side of the tree, they were on the other side of the tree. And I got my back to the tree, and as I'm looking down the hill, I can see the gooks coming up the hill. And all of a sudden, I just decided, well, we gotta go. And I jumped out around the tree with my M16, come around, full automatic, pulled the trigger, fired 1 time, and I'm empty. And there I stood in front of 3 guys. They were standing right there. And they're all 3 just looking at me. And I had my M16, and I had plenty of ammunition in my pouches, but I knew as soon as I unloaded that magazine, they were going to figure out this guy doesn't have any bullets. And they're standing right there. They're just looking at me, and I'm just standing there with my weapon. And I can honestly say I never thought about it. I never planned it, and I just pulled up like I was going to start shooting, and all 3 of them took off. I fell back around the tree. And put them, I remember actually closing my eyes, dropping my magazine, pull another one, slap it in, jump around the tree, and as I come around again, up probably 50 feet is a goop with a B-40 rocket launcher behind a felled log, and I saw the guy, I saw him, when he pulled that trigger, he winced, he tightened up, blinked his eyes, and turned his head and pulled the trigger. And I saw this rocket coming off this launcher, and I could actually, time just stopped. I could just see this thing, the spiral and the metal edging on it, and I could just see it, and it was going around just like that, and I knew it was headed right there. All of a sudden, this thing exploded, and I'm back 10 feet behind the tree and on the ground. And I opened my eyes, and blood just pouring down onto my hands. I can remember thinking, he just blew my head off. He just blew my head off. I remember reaching up behind my head and feeling, and honestly, I remember thinking, well, no, your head's still there. And then my next thought was, well, of course, you idiot, or you wouldn't be able to think. Jumped out around again, and same thing. The guy had reloaded, fired what was happening. He was hitting this tree where I was at as it was coming off. The first one caught me in the head, blew my helmet off, and cut my face open. The second one caught me up in the head. And there I am again. And I thought, we've got to go to Plan B, because Plan A was terrible. So finally, after the second rocket, and I thought, well, geez, got to do something different. This isn't working, running out of head here. And I asked the other guy that was with me if he had any grenades. He had 5 and I had 3. I said, just start pulling the pins and throwing. So both of us, we just started pulling the pins and throwing grenades as far as we could, as far as we could. And I was counting the explosions. And after the 8th one, I took off to the spot where they were at. And just as I did, this guy was coming up from behind that log that he was at and starting to come up with his rocket launcher again. But this time I had a full magazine in my weapon. I didn't aim, I was just running and shooting it, and just as I did, caught him dead center. And I don't know why, but I have always seen this Pez dispenser that his head opens up and everything starts coming out. And he was there and just leaving. It was such a weird sight because there's this guy there, The next thing, he just slid over, laid down. I jumped up on the log and finished my magazine. Put another one in. And there was three other guys that were there at the log, and that's where they had gone to. And I think our grenades never hit them, but the concussion, they didn't have their senses about them. And they were just starting to move, and I was just unloaded into these guys. And I got another magazine and unloaded it. Got another magazine, just started to unload it, when all of a sudden, boom, over I am on top of them. And here, I don't know if someone was really shooting at me or if I just caught around coming up from down the hill, but they shot me in the arm, and it knocked me over on top of them. And as I'm laying there, I thought, it kind of brought me back to my senses, and I thought, well, we got to get out of here. And I ran back to the tree, and I got the guy that was there and said, grabbed him, said, come on, Anna, we got to go. And he said, no. He said, if we go, he said, they'll shoot us. I said, listen, there's nobody left there. They're all dead. He said, no. He said, I know if we walk up there, they'll shoot us. I said, no, there's nobody there. We just got to go. We got to go now. And he started arguing. I said, look, down the hill. I said, these guys are going to shoot us if they get up there. And he said, no. I said, they didn't shoot us before. They won't do it now. I said, I guarantee you, if they get up here and we're still here, we're going to be dead. He said, Sarge, I'm not going. I finally just reached down and grabbed him and started dragging him up the hill. Next thing I know, I'm falling on the ground again. And as I rolled over to see what was going on, he had taken his M16 and clubbed me. Ran back down to the tree. And I took off. And I'm running and trying to figure out where to go, trying to hear, because I couldn't see, kept wiping the blood out of my eyes, and running into trees and vines and branches. And you cannot even begin to imagine how thick a jungle is, what they call triple canopy jungle, where it is so thick that even the sunlight can't get through it in a lot of places. And some of the vines that just grab you as you're walking by. And next thing I know, someone grabbed me. I had my M16 in my left hand, and as I come around, and he grabbed it, pulled it out of my hand, and it literally had me up in the air. He hadn't just had me around my jersey, but he had me lifted up in the air. And he said, hey, it's me. And it was a fella that I was stationed with in Germany. And I said, man, they're coming. There's a million of them coming. And he says, friendlies? He says, no, it's the damn gooks. There's a million of them. And he told me, well, get up to the CP and have a medic look at you. As I started walking up, I could see, like I saw part of my squad and other guys, and everybody was just looking. No one doing it. I said, I didn't realize what I looked like. Where I got hit in the face, where this was all hanging below my chin, where there's nothing but teeth here. My skull was exposed, where my scalp was hanging down over my ears, and part of my nose was gone. And I'm walking up, and all of a sudden, I always liken it to the sensation of walking in a cloud, where I could see my feet moving, but I could never feel them hit the ground. And as I was walking along, and all of a sudden I could just feel myself go down into this cloud, and boom, that was it. Next thing I know, there's a medic above me. As I opened my eyes, he had me all bandaged. He had my face put back together, my scalp up, and I looked like a tied a bow tie up here. Looked like a little sissy. And this guy, and he was just about ready to give me a shot. And I reached up and I grabbed his hand. I said, what are you doing? He said, it's just a shot of morphine. I said, well, I don't need a shot. And he said, Sergeant, it's just a shot of morphine for the pain. I said, but I don't hurt. He says, you've got to hurt. I said, I'm telling you I don't. He said, listen, it's just for the pain. You'll be awake. You'll know what's going on, but it's just for the pain. I said, but I'm telling you, I'm okay. I said, you save it for someone that needs it. He said, okay, but listen, when the adrenaline wears off and you start hurting, you let me know. I'm going to save one for you. I said, okay. I tell you what, I was like that for 3 days, and never once did I ever feel discomfort or pain.